Chefs at home. You know, they say you reap what we sow, and here we are understanding what it takes to reap what it takes to sow. We're taking it to the farms, a farm owned by a black woman. That's what we call power in 2024. Episode 2 of Something is Cooking, and we have an agricultural pioneer seated alongside us today. She's going to give you guys the ingredients to succeed in the agriculture industry, in the agriculture sector. Seated alongside us, we have Scelo Simelane. I don't want to take too much away from her bio, so I'm going to let her introduce herself. Ma'am, tell us about yourself. Who are you? How old are you? Let the people know.
All right, thank you so much for having me. So I am Scelo Simelane, 20-year-old farmer from Balfour in Mpumalanga and the founder of A Demande Agriculture. I currently run 3 companies that are really active. So we have A Demande Cosmetics, which is a cosmetics company, beauty company. Then we have A Demande Studio, which is makeup services, beauty services. We have I Am Scelo Simelane, where I come, public speaking, motivation, and so forth. And then we have A Demande Agriculture. Currently a first-year student at the University of the Witwatersrand, studying a BA Psychology and Media Studies. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
There's 50-year-olds that don't have a bio like that. What you're doing is dangerous. What you're doing is powerful. And we want to get into it a little bit more, right? What starts, because it's not easy to run one company, let alone like 4, right? So what sparks the interest in entrepreneurship, and how does it grow to not just 1, but 4 companies?
That's a nice question. I feel like I was born with this. I feel like I was born with this, and I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. My great-grandfather on both sides, both great-grandfathers were both entrepreneurs. And then my grandparents were entrepreneurs, and my parents are currently entrepreneurs. And I feel like it's in the blood, it's in the family. And in 2017, this is actually a very funny story and I love telling it. In 2017, I decided I want to be a very pretty girl.
Okay.
And I'm going to shape my eyebrows. So what did I do? I took no hair cream and I tried to shape my eyebrows.
Oh, nice.
Long story short, that did not end very well. It did not end very well. And that's what sparked my interest in cosmetics. And I started, playing around with makeup. And then in 2019, I decided that I want to start my own company. And I started my own company. I started with lip scrubs, started with lip balms, lip glosses, and that grew skincare. After skincare, we had body sprays, body shimmer. And then after that, I realized that I really want to offer the service to the public. And that's when I started A Demande Studio, which offers makeup services. And from that company, we got another company as well that was funded by these 2 companies. We had A Demande Hampers, which was gift packages. And that company funded another company called My Candy Obsession. So I saw how just starting and putting in the work, putting in the effort could just grow and grow and grow and lead to more companies. And then in 2021, I decided to put all of those companies on hold and I went to the farm. We relocated from Secunda to in Balfour, where we are currently. And I just fell in love with the agriculture space, And again, we started on a small patch, just planted a few pumpkins, took them to Spa. You get something. Then the next year, you're like, no, I want to do this again at a larger scale. And you just keep going and going and going. We started from the backyard and we're currently planting on 10 hectares. Just Hubbard squash, just watermelon. Yeah, that's where we are.
So, send it, the land. Oh, love a woman with land. So how does one actually, what is the process of saying, okay, I want to be in the agriculture space? What are the types, what is the know-how, right? Is it something that you taught yourself, starting with the pumpkins, or did you have guidance from industry professionals? How did that process go?
All right, so I'm also a 4th generational farmer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my great-grandfather was a farmer, my granddad was a farmer, my dad is currently a farmer, but we all just found ourselves in different spaces. And I was just exposed to the horticulture space, which is your fresh produce, your fruits, your vegetables. And I really loved that side more than everything else. And that's why I'm in the space that I'm in currently, because I just fell in love with this part of agriculture. But I did have guidance from my dad and my granddad. It's all lessons that just came from the people that came before us.
So what is the supply chain like for A Demande? You spoke about Spa at the beginning. And I think the one thing that's nice about interviewing people is that you can stalk them and it's normal. So upon my stalking, I saw there's also other retailers that you supply to. Who are they, and how does that work? How do you contract? How do you strengthen your supply chain in the way that you have?
All right, so honestly speaking, I've just been putting myself out there. Don't ever wait for opportunities to come to you. You prepare yourself and then you go and knock everywhere that you want to be in. So what I did was in 2023, we planted 3 hectares of pumpkins. So we had a lot of pumpkins and we realized that just one shop is not going to be enough for us. And I was like, no, let me go to Spa in Balfour. Let me go to Heidelberg. Let me go to Brakpan. Let me go to Secunda and Standerton and knock. I literally went and I knocked. Yes, we got no's, lots and lots and lots of no's.
Of course.
But when you believe in your product, you just keep going back and you come with your product to show them that, listen, this is what I have. I can supply you for this amount of time. And I promise you that I'm going to supply you with good produce. So yes, we just knocked on doors. Currently, we are not just working with just the spas anymore. No. We've
Yeah.
So this year we're tapping into distribution channels. So we're going to the headquarters of Spa, the headquarters of Pick and Pay. Yes, God's grace is sufficient.
Yes.
Once you do something right, God is like, it's time to move, my child. So God has opened up that door recently, and just yesterday, Wednesday, today's Friday. On Wednesday, we went to the Joburg market and we secured a deal with the Joburg market. So now we're working directly with the Joburg market to supply all your retail stores on Gauteng. So when the time is right, and by knock everywhere that you want to step into, put yourself out there and prepare yourself to go there as well. You can't go there when you're not prepared.
Of course.
Know your facts, know indaba zakho, ufike so ready to be in that space.
So just to go into a bit more of the business side of things, right? We understand the supply chain, but the daily running of it all. To go from a small pumpkin patch to 10 hectares is no small feat, right? So what does that mean from a labor cost, from a scaling perspective? What did that process look like? What is your labor force in terms of numbers right now, your margins, all of that?
Wasn't busy.
We're getting into it.
We're getting into it, but yes, currently scaling is not easy. It's never easy. But when your business needs to scale. You know what 100%. I'm saying? So we're currently working on 615 hectares. But because of opportunity meeting preparation, right now we're still working on 10 hectares because that's what we are prepared for. And we're waiting for the right opportunities for us to grow more. So scaling is not easy. You need to find new employees. You need to find the right match for your company as well, because you can't just bring people in. You need to bring people in that have the vision that you have for your company as well. With regards to numbers, because numbers.
Just a bit.
And, God's grace has been so sufficient, Last year, the farm is actually pretty diverse. But where I worked, last year we touched our first million in revenue, just last year. Last year we touched our first revenue. So God's grace has been sufficient. And, we are scaling because we're ready. We've prayed, we've worked, we've paid our school fees as well, because that's another thing that you have to pay. When you're working, especially in the agriculture space, there's so much room for disappointment. There's so much room for mistakes. But I feel like we went through all of that in that 3-hectare space. We went through all of that in that backyard space. We're currently paying our school fees right now, because I just lost roughly 1 hectare of spinach, and I lost roughly, I think it was 30, I'm not too sure how many heads we had of cabbage, but we just took out all the cabbage that we had. And we are learning every day. But after you learn your lesson, God prepares you for that new opportunity for you to scale.
I think that's super dope. And a bit more on that workforce issue, right? Because the other thing with scaling is that if you scale when there's problems on a smaller level, you're going to scale the problems, right? And most of those really lie within the workforce. And in a 10 hectare or even a bigger space, like you're saying, it is without a doubt, you need people to work the farm. You can't do it alone. So how do you choose people that will make sure that you can go to Spa and say, guys, this is the best, even though you didn't do it yourself?
I hear you. That's actually, I don't have the formula for that. I still don't have it. We've been in this space. My parents have been in this space for years and years and years and years. But they too don't have the formula. It's just a matter of praying to God to bring you the right people. You pray to God to bring you the right people, and you bring them in and you just try it out. You give them 2 weeks. Sometimes you start with just 2 weeks with your employees. Just see how they are. Do you take instructions? Can you think for yourself? Because that's another thing. I'm not always on the farm. I'm just there every now and then just to check. We
Like a tea
plan,
bag, in and out.
siyangena siyaphuma, siyangena siyachecka, we plan for the next week. And you need employees that can think beyond and that don't wait for your instructions. So I'm not gonna lie, I've been having the most challenging, but it's a blessing because we're learning as we're going. You know what not to look for the next time you go look for employees. So it's honestly just a gamble. You just try a new person out. If they're great, you keep them. You encourage them as well to keep working. And if the person is not right for your company, you can't keep putting your company at danger like that.
So what's the hardest thing you faced? Because you keep speaking about these lessons, but what's the biggest one where you are like, hey, this is a real thing. This one, it's a real death.
There's so many. I don't even know where to start because we could talk about the company at large, which includes the livestock, which includes the grains, because we've had our fair share of loss there. But let's rather talk about everything. So the biggest loss that we faced, and this is just this year, our area had a water shortage.
Hey.
Yes. So we planted over 359 hectares of maize. We did not harvest a single grain, a single ummbila nje.
Yeah.
We did not even harvest a single
Nothing.
And you have to think 100 hectares, you're putting in roughly 1.2 million. It's 100 hectares. 100 hectares. We planted 359. We planted soya as well. I think it was 158 hectares. No, it was more than that. I'm losing it. But we harvested, normally we get roughly 2 tons a hectare. We got 0.5 a hectare. So you can think about what that did to the company and the numbers, because now, you're planting, expecting a good harvest, and the weather just comes through and just short-lived. You know what I'm saying? So that's one loss that we had that really hit the company we really felt that one. Another loss that we had was when the drought started in our area, we were advised to cut down on our livestock. And now the livestock was also your everyday trading. So now we also have to cut that down now because there's no grass, there's no water. Grass is also something that we sell. We supply local farmers with bales. Now there's no water, we can't supply bales. So another thing is in the business, guning. Now we also have fresh produce, so your pumpkins, your spinach and everything. When the water shortage started, our pumpkins went from 10 kgs, 8 kgs to 2. 1. Hey, back to back hits. I feel like, this year was a lesson. Hey, this year was a lesson. And we had our fair share. Another thing that we had was just 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks ago, earlier this month, all of our spinach was infected with the fungus. And the thing is, I'm an organic farmer. So I don't use pesticides. I don't use herbicides. As soon as you see these kind of signs, we go in with our natural remedies. And our natural remedies just at this time around. And we felt that hit, but we've recovered and we're back now. But the thing is, with this agriculture space, it's so many things that are out of your control that can affect your company. And in that moment, you need to find solutions. That's why I say we keep paying school fees. When God closes this door, he expects you to look for another opportunity.
Yes.
Proverbs 25 verse 2 says, it's God's glory to uncover things, but it's a king's glory to uncover them. And with those challenges that you face, God pushes you to look for different streams of income, to look for different kinds of solutions. And in the midst of those hardships, that's when we really thought as a company, how do we find different solutions? How do we find different opportunities? So yes, I mentioned all that loss, but with all that loss, we got so many lessons. And now we took this company from just 4 or 5 streams of revenue to multiple streams of revenue. So sometimes it looks bad, but that's school fees is worth it. Next year,
the revenue is like this.
It's the start. It's the start. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
so
the start.
I hear you speak a lot about religion, right? And I can tell it's very important to what you do, to how you live your life. How important is it to how you run your company? So not just on a personal level, but is there prayers with the employees before you go and harvest? Or what does it look like infiltrating religion into the company culture?
So we firmly believe that everything is not in our control. We cannot control when it rains. We cannot control when the sun comes out. We can't control the wind. We all place it in God's hands. And every day there's a verse in the Bible, I just can't recall it, but it says die so that God can live through you. And that's what we've established in the company. Every day we do come in and we do pray. And we do ask the employees to ask God for assistance when they're out there and they face challenges. Because everything that we're doing is not for us. We believe that what we do in this company is for God's glory. We aim to serve the people around us through this company. We're serving God's people through this company. So if we're serving God's people, we need to listen to what God wants. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we really include God in everything. You can't leave God out. It doesn't make sense. He controls everything. So why? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So what does A Demande look like now in terms of what it is you guys do? Because we spoke a bit about the fresh produce, but what else do you guys supply? And is that all you, or are you partnered with other companies in terms of like the livestock element of it, or what does it look like?
Right. So A Demande Agriculture just works with fresh produce. It just
Okay.
works in the horticulture space, so your fruits and your vegetables, and supplying markets to local farmers as well, local farmers with fresh produce. And then I am a part of another company called Mbembe Projects. So Mbembe Projects is a company that's with the livestock, that works with the grains, that works with the bales and all those other things. And there's also beautiful things coming up very soon that I don't know if I have the rights to talk about. But Mbembe Projects is currently working on the biggest storm
We've ever
that is
seen.
coming. I don't think South Africa is ready. I don't think we are ready because of what is coming. But yes, those are the companies that I currently work with. And for the past few years, A Demande Agriculture is still fairly new. We only registered this year. So when it comes to capital, when it comes to, paying employees, when it comes to us getting access to all these different opportunities, and Mbembe Projects has been holding us by the hand and opening the way as well. Because like I mentioned before, we aim to uplift others as we are lifted as well. So that's what Mbembe Projects has done for us. And that is why A Demande Agriculture also aims to do that in
For
the
others.
area that we're in.
I think that's super, super interesting, right? And I know outside of kind of the businesswoman hat, which is still a businesswoman element, you also a content creator, right? And how important, and I see even the way you've come dressed is as your brand. You are a farmer. How important is branding in everything you do, and how pivotal has it been to your growth?
The thing is, people judge you first before they actually get to know you. You know, your first impression, your social media, how you come says a lot about you. You know, somebody can be ticked off by the way you look and the way your social media looks before they actually get to know you. And for me personally, I feel like my branding has really allowed me to enter the spaces that I'm in because I've decided to portray myself in such a way that, you guys know that I'm a farmer. You guys know that I'm a businesswoman. You guys know that this is how I speak on a daily basis. This is how I come to campus sometimes, or I go to campus in a suit. Why? Because of the brand that I'm building. I want you to look at I am Scelo Simelane and know that you're getting a quality business advice, you're getting quality partners, you're getting quality into ifunayo. You know that you're gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? So branding has been very important for me. And yeah, social media has also opened opportunities for me. My Instagram has opened up so many opportunities for me. TikTok has opened up so many opportunities for me. One recent opportunity is we're part of the MTN Youth Hustle Hub Top 30 because of
Okay,
TikTok
girl.
and Instagram.
Okay, girl.
God's grace has been sufficient, you know? So if it wasn't for that social media account, if it wasn't for the way that we portrayed ourselves and the way we talked about our company, I don't think we would have got that. So it says a lot about branding, man. You should prioritize it. And your LinkedIn as well. People don't prioritize LinkedIn and I don't like it. Do you have LinkedIn?
I do, ne? But I don't know.
But-
Someone stole my thing because I've been trying to log in. It's saying authentication. What thought? But it's fine. From today, I'm gonna be better.
Please.
I'm gonna be better.
Please.
I'm gonna be much,
Because
much better.
so many of my opportunities that I have right now came from connecting with the right people on LinkedIn. And people don't really value LinkedIn. They look at LinkedIn, it's like, it's for 40-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 50-year-olds, and everybody goes on there and says, congratulations. No. You talk about your journey on there. You talk about what you do on there. You talk about yourself on there. And you connect with the people that you want to connect with. And when the time is right, and when you are ready for the opportunity, you go in and you knock.
So, what's the hardest no that you've had to take?
Maninho. The hardest no that I had to take. I'm trying to think of one that really hit me hard, but one that recently just really affected me. I won the district competition for the pitching for funding with CEDA and Standard Bank
Okay.
for my district. So I came first place. I'm like, okay,
Okay, girl.
I know what
Okay.
I'm doing. And the thing is, I was also part of the founders pitch with the Alan Gray Orbis Foundation.
Okay.
We also went through to the final round with that one. So I'm thinking, okay, I know how to pitch. MTN, I had to pitch. I'm like, okay, I know how to pitch.
I can do this
I
one.
can do.
Yeah.
Pitching is my thing. And
Yeah.
I was so prepared. I practiced a lot. And I went into the final not national, provincial rounds and now spread. In the same week that I had the mentorship with MTN, and the same week I was speaking somewhere else. So now I went there. I'm tired. Mind you, 3 days before that, I was in hospital. I was sick. And I'm not saying like Bengula, like my life flashed before my eyes. But I decided to stand up and go pitch my business. Feeling weak, feeling tired, but I know my craft and I believe in it. And unfortunately, that round we didn't go through. And I was a bit confused because I know this is a good idea.
Yeah.
This concept has turned heads, has interested CEOs and specialists from high places. I mean, just Wednesday, I was speaking to the COO of the Joburg market. You know what I'm saying? So I know that what we're doing is great, but that time I wasn't ready for the no, not knowing that no was opening up opportunities for other
big
people
yes.
to come speak to me. You know? Because they saw that this craft was good and they said no to in this competition, but we see the potential now, we're coming to you. So that was one of the biggest no's that I had to take, but it came with something else.
Yeah, for
It came
sure,
with
for
something
sure.
else, you know?
And there's a lot in your life. There's a lot, right? And obviously, like you're saying, it's even posed health challenges because it's a lot of stress for a 20-year-old. How do you balance? Do you have time for friends? Do you have time for a special friend? Like, what does life look like outside of work, outside of school? Like, how do you maintain the balance, keep sane?
My mom forced me to buy a diary.
Uh,
She forced me to buy a diary. And back in August, and this is something very sensitive, and I'm just going to share it because we're open. I went to my therapist and she was like, why are you here? Who are you? And I answered, I am Scelo Simelane, business owner.
yeah, you know me. Yo.
You know, we're making money.
Smiley.
And she was like to me, you're shallow.
Hey.
You're shallow. I'm trying to speak to the real you, and I'm not getting to that point.
Not the brand.
Yes. And I was giving her the brand. That's what I know. That's who I am, you know? And it was that time when I decided that I need to be intentional about being Scelo and not I am Scelo Simelane. You know, and that's when my mom forced me to buy a diary and I was forced to plan my day every single day. And in that planning, yes, I had started planning a very long time ago because we had to plan from February when I moved to Joburg. I was used to planning, but I never used to squeeze in fun. I never used to squeeze in friends, intentionally calling your friend and checking up on them. And after that, that's when I decided, no, let's add them into this diary. Let's be intentional about playing a game. Go play a board game. Dlala cards. You know, you just need to make time. And you know, when you're tired, step back. Sundays is my rest day. No questions about it. Don't speak to me.
Don't
What are you
text me.
doing?
Don't think of me.
I'm not answering my phone if you're talking to me with regards to business. Sunday is where you rest. You go spend some time with the Lord. You spend some time with your family. You call friends. You play a board game. You rejuvenate, and you're ready for the next week.
That's super, super dope. And how do you keep a balance in terms of school?
Yeah, that's one that I think I got that under control. I won't lie. But during the week, I'm most of the time in Joburg. And when I'm in Joburg, I know that I have classes. I attend all my classes, no question about it, because I listen better than I actually sit down and study. So I study in class while the lecturer is giving the lesson. So that's what I do during the day. And then there is breaks in between where I sort out business stuff back at home. And then after that, you go back and you study a little bit more, you do some business, and that's just how you balance it. And then Sunday, friends, family, fun, you know? But during the week, it's just crunch time.
That's also super, super dope. Like this interview has been dope on top of dopeness. So why did you choose to study? You said you're doing psychology and media studies, right? That, in my mind, is so separate from what your business life looks like. Why did you pursue that route? Is it an escape, or what does that dynamic look like?
So A Demande has a bigger vision. A Demande is not just A Demande Cosmetics Studio, I am Scelo Simelane, A Demande Agriculture. It has a bigger vision. And psychology and media is somewhere in the plan.
Mm.
Don't want to speak too much.
Of course.
But when the time is right, it will be revealed. But another thing is, in the space that I'm in, especially where my company is currently, I deal with a lot of people. And psychology is people. You know how the mind works, why people behave in the way that they behave, why people feel the way that they feel. You see small little things while I'm speaking to you, while we're negotiating, and I know, okay, you're nervous. This is how you're feeling. You know, psychology is the mind, and every day in business, you're dealing with the mind of a person. When you negotiate, you're dealing with the mind of a person. When you're working with your employees, it's the mind of the person.
100%.
And then media studies, I currently do my own social media. I currently do my own branding. I also publicize my business the way that I want to. Media studies, that's where it all falls in. And as the business scales up, and I know that I'm not going to have the capacity to do it myself. I'm going to get somebody else to do it, but I'm going to know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have a full-on understanding of why they're portraying this in this way, because I studied that for 3 years. Yeah.
I want you to give us your wisest advice. The biggest thing that you want the chefs at home to know. You can look straight into the camera as we wrap up. What is your parting word?
My parting word is, you can do anything and everything you put your mind to. I started my company at 15. I used to babysit kids to get the capital to start this company. Today, we're working on land. We're working with spas and pick and pays. Why? Because I did everything, because I knew that I could do everything and everything I put my mind to. So you too can do that. You got this. As far as you can see, that's what God has given you. So go fetch your life.
Hey, chefs at home, go fetch your life. I'm not even going to say more. Thank you for tuning in. That was episode 2 of Something's Cooking.